Good afternoon, everybody. It's Mark Hour, and the name of this video is A Canoe for the Wilderness at 63 years old. I picked that title because I built a cedar strip canoe back in 2004 and took quite a bit of trips up into the Ontario wilderness, the Quetico, Boundary Waters, Lake Erie. I've taken the canoe pretty much everywhere. It is 17 feet long. It can hold 1,100 pounds. And it works so well on our trips that I built another one. They're actually not that difficult to put together. You just need some time and some concentration, but you don't need a boatload of skills, no pun intended. The canoes are built out of cedar strips that are 3/4 wide and 1/4 inch thick. And then they get a cove and a bead on each side. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm hoping that you can. There is a cove on one side and a bead. This is the cove. This is the bead, and they lock together similar to hardwood flooring, tongue and groove, may I say. It's actually really a cove bead. That's how you can get turns and twists out of the, and you're able to shape a hull. Excuse the shaking today, folks. Got tremors. Anyway, those strips of cedar, they're very lightweight and ends up with a lightweight boat. One you can carry in portage, and God knows we've portaged enough. To cove and bead, there's two router bits that you can use to put the edge on each one of those strips. And I built a jig and ran all these strips through it after I had milled them down, and ran the strips through, got the cove and the bead on there. And then once I had most of my materials milled down and ready to go, I built a rolling buck, which is just basically a 17-foot long square tube out of 1/2 inch plywood. And I put casters on it, feet and casters, so I could roll it around the garage when I wasn't working on it. Turns out I was done with it in 30 days. And that was weekends and nights. Getting ready for a trip. We had committed to a trip to Canada in the Ontario wilderness, and my son and a couple of his friends were going to come along. And that's what got me to build this cedar strip. I didn't want to rent a canoe up there because the rental charge was as much as the materials to build one. So I just had to turn it out fast, and we were able to get it done and loaded up on the truck and took off for Ely, Minnesota. Met our outfitters. They took us in, dropped us off at the boundary line, and we crossed into Quetico, and it was just absolutely beautiful. It was a dream come true. I mean, I've done a lot of traveling over the years, mostly in the wilderness, backpacking. We've done lots of camping and kind of more of a solitude type of thing. I've done quite a bit of solo camping and hiking through Daniel Boone's National Forest. So there's kind of a meaning behind all of this, and it's that I sit now in this room making these videos, and the memories that come back as I look through my my photo files, and I see just how much good came out of that. I was able to teach my sons and daughters how to survive in the wilderness, Not like one of these I shouldn't be alive videos. We don't like those, although I could have filmed a couple of those. But just a nice, peaceful, no humans kind of trip. So back to this cedar strip canoe. There's nothing like building something that floats. I don't know how else to say that. I've built 4 boats, a 21-foot runabout, and 2 canoes and a kayak, a cedar strip kayak that I took down the Forgotten Coast of Florida. And that was just an unbelievable trip. It was 7 days, or I should say six days of coastal kayaking. And I have memories of that, I just can't put into words. But I'm 63 now, and I did most of that stuff in my late 40s, early 50s. And I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease shortly after my wife passed away. And having those 2 events happen in your life, along with raising 4 kids that are left behind, that really did a number on me. I mean, it didn't throw me over the edge, but, that's a lot to overcome. And so there's a big gap in my happy memory book. And I'm taking this opportunity to dive in and relive some of that without the sadness and without the grief and all the things that came with that, which I can make a channel on that itself, but I'm not ready for that. But looking back makes me want to do it again, and I now live next to a river, so I've been able to use the canoes on the river, take them to shows and things like that, and I think that I'm trying to relive something that I always wanted, but I had. I wanted to go back in time, back when the kids were little, back when Mama was around, back when I was running a business and there was plenty of cash flow. So hands are tied pretty much right now, and with the Parkinson's, I've had that now for 13 or 14 years. And it has it has shut down my woodworking business, and that has been very, very difficult. But nevertheless, I got to try to, look past that. I got to work with what I got. All of us got something like that in their life. They're struggling with something that, is going to result in some pretty difficult at times. So I want you to know that I have come out of most of that. I've remarried. I have great grandchildren, if you can believe that. 4 kids and 13 grandkids. And there's no time for me to sit and pout. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I'm speaking to myself here. I worked 43 years as a carpenter and running a small construction business. And it was a family business, and I left shortly after my wife passed away. It was just too much. So I began to work for people instead of having people work for me, and that stress of meeting payroll is now over. So it took with it some things and left behind some good. So anyway, that canoe just kind of is puts a calendar day on the before, and I'll share mostly in this channel the after, and after I've overcome and I'm not going to bring you down. We're working towards a goal here, and that goal is to take what we have left in our, whatever age we are, what we think we have left, and what our dreams and the people we love, you know, we're here to fortify that. And I'm sharing with you what I'm using to do that. So as far as a career, I'm not doing YouTube for a career. I'm just doing it to see if it helps you or helps me. But I plan on sticking around, and I've got a lot to share with you. The next video that I'm going to do with you is going to be on the building of the kayak. And so I'm going to stay in this theme, and I'll be prepared with more photos of the kayak because I took more photos. The first canoe, I was so busy, I didn't take time to take too many photographs. But anyway, folks, at 63, if you're watching this, even if you're in a chair with wheels, there are things you can do. There are things you can do to help others. You can do things to help yourself and your family. You can write books. You can just don't give in. Don't give in to the negativity that comes with immobility. My hands, this is what I got left. I've used them all my life, but I can still make something like this. So I used to be able to make 6 or 7 of them a week, and now it takes me 2 weeks to make one. So they're bench shaft canoe paddles, and I make kayak paddles. But nevertheless, I'm saying, hey, there is sun at the end of the rainbow, you know, or hopefully a pot of gold, but I doubt it. But I'd love to see you back. I enjoy doing this. Please comment or whatever it is you do at the end of these. And know that next time I come back, I'll be prepared with a pretty awesome looking kayak that took me 58 miles on the ocean and blew me out to sea. And I never flipped or turned it over one time. So it was a wild ride, and I'm going to try to bring it to you here on YouTube. Until then, God bless you, and have a good day.